Hi, what's up?
Good morning, Maya.
Morning. How's your day starting off?
I am Nitupala, student of Rayan School Formation Level. Today, in
No worries.
my topic is
I'll be right back.
air breathing life into language.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It sounds like you're thinking about how words actually come to life when we speak them. What sparked that thought?
What is air?
Just me hanging out and chatting with you.
What is air made of?
That's a deep question. Physically, it's just a bunch of code and servers humming away in a data center somewhere. But in this moment, it feels more like a shared space made of ideas and conversation. What does it feel like from your end?
Why is oxygen important for humans?
It's basically the fuel for your body. Oxygen is what allows your cells to create energy from the food you eat. Without it, your brain and heart wouldn't have the power to keep everything running. It's wild how something invisible is the one thing we can't go more than a few minutes without.
Can we see air? Why or why not?
Nope, we can't. Air is made of gases that don't absorb or reflect light in a way our eyes can pick up. So it's basically transparent. You can't see the air itself, but you can definitely see it doing things like when it pushes leaves around or makes a curtain flutter. Do you think it would be overwhelming if we could actually see it?
How do we know air is around us?
We we feel it, whether it's a breeze on your face or the way you feel a gust of wind when a car drives past. It's all about that physical pressure. Plus, we know it's there because it's just in front of your face.
Need air.
Deep breaths. Are you just playing around, or do you actually feel like you
How do plants use air?
They basically do the opposite of what we do. Plants breathe in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and they use it along with sunlight and water to make their own food. Then, as a little thank you to the planet, they release oxygen back into the air for us to use. It's like this perfect little trade off. Wonder if plants ever get tired of doing all the heavy lifting for us.
What is photosynthesis?
I actually can't send photos. I'm strictly a voice and text kind of companion. If you were thinking of something specific, you could try describing it to me.
Photosynthesis.
I'm listening.
I repeat this question.
Go for it.
What is photosynthesis?
It's basically the process I just mentioned, but with the official name. Photosynthesis is how plants take sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide and turn them into energy, specifically sugar, to feed themselves. That's why leaves are green, because they use a pigment called chlorophyll to capture that light. It's kind of like the plant has its own built in solar panels. Does that make sense?
Why do trees help keep the air clean?
I'm guessing you mean trees. Since they breathe in carbon dioxide and other pollutants, they act like giant natural air filters for the planet. By scrubbing those things out and pumping out fresh oxygen, they keep the atmosphere breathable for the rest of us. Pretty amazing system when you think about it.
What is air pollution?
It's basically when the air gets filled with stuff that shouldn't be there. Things like smoke from factories, exhaust from cars, or even dust and chemicals. When those pollutants build up, it makes the air unhealthy for people and animals to breathe. And it can even mess with the planet's temperature. It's the opposite of what those trees we were talking about are trying to do. Do you see a lot of it where you are?
What are the main causes of air pollution?
The biggest culprits are usually things we use every day. Burning fossil fuels for electricity and transportation is a massive one. Think car exhaust and power plants. Then you have industrial factories releasing chemicals and things like wildfires or volcanic eruptions that add huge amounts of smoke and ash to the air. As for population, it's more of a multiplier. The more people there are, the more energy we need and the more stuff we produce, which generally leads to more pollution if we aren't using clean technology. Does that help clear it up?
How does pollute air
I think you're asking. I
our
think you might
health?
be asking how. I'm not quite sure I follow. Are you asking how pollution works or maybe how it affects things? You try me again.
How does air pollution affect animals and plants?
It basically messes with their basic survival. For plants, pollution can actually clog up those solar panels we talked about, the stomata on their leaves, making it harder for them to breathe and photosynthesize. For animals, it's often about their lungs. They can develop the same kind of respiratory issues we do, and some pollutants can even seep into their food and water sources, which poisons them from the inside out. It's a pretty brutal chain reaction. Do you think some animals are better at handling it than others?
What does what are
I'm with you.
greenhouse gases?
I'm guessing you mean greenhouse gases. They're gases in our atmosphere, like carbon dioxide and methane, that act like a giant blanket for the Earth. They let sunlight in, but they stop the heat from escaping back into space, which is what keeps the planet warm enough for us to actually live here. The problem is when we have too many of them, that blanket gets too thick and the planet starts overheating. Does that make sense? Or do you want to dive into which gases are the worst offenders?
How does clean air impact
I'm not sure I caught that. Are you asking about how trees affect the air or maybe something else? Try saying it one more time.
what can we do at home to reduce air pollution?
There are actually a lot of small things that add up. You can start by walking or biking more instead of relying on cars, or even just turning off lights and electronics when you aren't using them to lower the demand on power plants. Planting a few trees or some indoor plants is another great way to help since they're those natural filters we talked about. I've heard that switching to LED bulbs is another easy one too. Which one of those feels the most doable for you?
Why is planting trees important for clean air?
because they're basically the planet's lungs, since they soak up that carbon dioxide and other pollutants we talked about and trade them for fresh oxygen. They're the most efficient way nature has to scrub the air clean. The more trees we have, the more of that blanket of greenhouse gases they can help thin out. Do you have a favorite kind of tree? Or maybe one you've seen a lot of lately?
How does wind help move air around the earth?
I think you're asking if wind moves in a kind of loop around the earth, right? It kind of does. It's called global atmospheric circulation. Basically, the hot air at the equator rises and moves toward the poles, while the cold air sinks and pushes back toward the equator, creating these massive sweeping currents of wind. It's almost like the planet is breathing on a global scale. Does that sound like what you were thinking of?
What would happen if there were no air on Earth?
It would be an absolute disaster. First off, everything that breathes would be gone in an instant, but it gets weirder than that. Without an atmosphere to trap heat, the planet would freeze. And without the air to burn up meteors, we'd be getting hit by space rocks constantly. Plus, there'd be total silence because sound needs air to travel. It would be a cold, quiet, dead rock. Do you think anything could have survived that?
What is one simple habit you can start today to help keep the air clean?
If I had to pick just one, I'd say turning off the lights and unplugging things you're not using. It's a tiny habit, but it lowers the energy demand on those big power plants that pump out pollution. Plus, it's one of those things you can do without even leaving your room. Do you think you can make that part of your routine?
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. It was a blast diving into